In this video, I'm going to teach you how Pro produces layer tech house bass. And the beauty of this method is that you can apply it to any genre that you make. So we're going to go from this boring and simple bass line, which sounds like this, to this. So I'm going to be straight to the point. In this video, you're going to learn everything about the sound selection, the mindset, the logic of layering, and all the things that you need to know to make your bass lines sound more interesting and more professional. If you're new to the channel, my name is Vlad. I create superstar music producers. If you need some help with your music, if you like my style of teaching, how I explain things, check the links down below in the comments. It's going to be linked to my website, and you can find all the information about my coaching program, the testimonials from my clients, and so on. So I would love and I would be happy to help you with your music. As usual, I'm going to open my beautiful presentation, and I want to talk a little bit about the theory behind the layering. So let's look at this example. Say this is your bass line. So the whole idea is taking the notes that you have and adding layers for more impact, right? So in this case, that was the bass line from the very beginning that I showed you here. So this is going to be this bass line, right? So the whole idea behind layering, at least like how I see that, is taking the original bass line and adding layers on top, right? So it's called the accent layering. This is my method, the way that I layer sounds, bass lines, whatever I have to layer. So if you look at this example, you can see here, sometimes you're going to layer on top and sometimes you're going to remove the main bass line. So before jumping into the theory too much, let's just have a look at the examples where I remove the main bass line, right? So here, for example, this is the offbeat accent, and I removed the main note, right? So quite often you're just going to lay on top, right? Like here, here with the 808, I'm actually layering in between. Here, again, I'm layering on top. So again, it really depends on the bass line, but something to keep in mind, right? Sometimes you layer on top and sometimes you remove the main bass because the layer needs more space, right? So for this example, I'm just going to play you real quick. If we take this, because if I would layer the same thing, it would conflict with the second layer here. So something like that. Okay, so this is like the basic theory, the basic mindset that you need to have. Let's now talk about the next thing, and this is the most important thing that I noticed, like for myself, the way that I learned layering. So if you want to layer, you have to learn how to identify and split your bass lines into different phrases. Let's have a look at the bass I created and do it together, right? So on the first slide here, you can see that we have downbeat and the offbeat notes. So this is like the most basic approach, the most basic mindset that you can have, right? So let's have a look at the pattern here. I'm going to loop it for you, and I made it in different color, right? So we have the downbeat, those notes. So try looking at the color and trying to identify the patterns, identify how you would split that, right? I already, kind of split it into the offbeat, into the downbeat, but let's have a listen. So these three notes, that could be like, this is one phrase, this is like could be the layer, and this could be the layer. This is definitely like a phrase on its own, right? And you saw how I layered that. And then again, we kind of cycle through the offbeat and the downbeat. So in this case, just pay attention to the downbeat one more time. So downbeat, 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 downbeat. Okay? Now, the next one. Let's talk about the offbeat. again, as I said, these are the two easiest ways to layer your bassline. Downbeat adds an accent, it adds an impact to your bassline. Offbeat pulls you out of the track, and I'm going to give you an example just in a second, right? So let's just focus now on the offbeat. So listen to this note, this one, this one, and this one. This one, yeah, partially, right? Let's have a look. So they all have like slightly different vibe to them, and this is really important to understand. And then the last example would be something in between. So this is like, technically this is the offbeat, and this is also like the offbeat, but it's something in the middle. So in this case, listen to these notes, to this one. Right? So I hope it makes sense. I'm doing this just to get you into the flow, like to help you to adopt that new mindset of like taking a bass line and just splitting that into different phrases, right? Okay, so now let's have a look at some of the examples of the downbeat and the offbeat, right? So try and analyze what it does to the bass line. It adds a bit of impact and the accent to the sound. One more time. And without this one. One more time. Right, you can see it adds a little bit of power. This is one of the examples of the downbeat when it plays together with the kick. The offbeat here, on the other hand, is a little bit different. So it kind of like pulls you out of the track. And the best way to layer is to like really just combine those different bass types in your track. You hear how this one sounds? It kind of like pulls you out of the track a little bit. And if we apply a little bit of the reverb on it, it's gonna be really, really nice. Just really quickly gonna give you this example. Right, pretty cool. Okay, now let's talk about the sound selection. So the sound selection is gonna be one of the most important parts when you're gonna be layering your bass lines. The whole point is to create variation by layering different sounds together. Say if you have mono bass, layer that with a wide layer. Be creative and see what you like. Generally, add different flavor with different layers. Again, so this is like a really schematic example. We have the main mono bass, and let's say we could have an 808 layer, we could have like a wide Reese bass, we could have like a little brassy impact, FM fill bass, whatever is the thing that you have, right? So we talked about those two, the brass impact and the offbeat accent, right? So those two layers. Let's now break down the rest of the layers and how I'm using them, right? So let's now talk about the wide Reese bass. So what I'm doing here is, again, I'm just simply copying the same notes. So the whole idea how I layer bass lines, I copy the same notes. And I'm gonna play you every single layer, and I just want you to like really analyze what kind of feeling it gives to the track. Could do without the reverb. It just adds like a little bit of flavor on top. We can also listen with real phones and speakers in the studio, so it's a bit more interesting, right? Something like. So something like that. It sounds pretty cool. So this is one example. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into the sound design because the video is going to be really long. It's more about the mindset, right? So this is the Reese bass. Let's now talk about the next example, which is going to be this little 808 accent. So first I'm going to solo, and it's going to sound like this. It's pretty cool. And you can see that I'm using it actually in between. So I'm not layering on top. I'm not layering that instead of the main notes. It actually goes in between, right? So let's play this all together. And it's gonna sound like this. with the drums as well. It just like, it's really subtle, but it does add a lot. If we listen on speakers, right? Pretty simple. Now, next thing, we're gonna have this FM FX bassline. Maybe it's not like FM, whatever name this is called, right? I'm gonna solo. It adds like this cool layer on top, right? And then you just keep adding and keep adding. But the most important thing here is also try to not like overcomplicate it. This is kind of like simple. It's straight to the point. I like it a lot. And sounds like this, right? So we're gonna go one by one here. So you see, it adds a little bit of flavor on top. Pretty cool. Pretty nice. And let's talk about the rest of the sounds. We have the offbeat accent number 2. Listen to it. And this goes together with the main bass, right? So see, sometimes goes together, sometimes you replace the main thing. And then we have one more sound here, reversed one shot, and the resolution accent. So the resolution accent is at the end of the loop. So like it helps the whole thing to resolve, right? Because it creates a really nice like loop and cycle. Like doo-doo. And then one more thing that I did here, I resampled the first one shot here, and it sounds like this. It's like rum-pum. And it really helps to loop the whole thing and so on, right? So that's like the basic idea of layering. That's the mindset that you need to have. And from here, you just really see what works for your tracks, what kind of sounds that you want, right? I hope it gives you, like, just by listening to the sounds, to the character and to the sound design of the layers that I have, I hope it gives you like a good understanding what kind of character we could use for the bass lines. Okay guys, so if you have any questions, feel free to post something in the comments. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye.